Hello, I'm Mayor Schneider, and I have two important messages to share with the citizens of Florissant. One is an unusual action whereby I returned the budget for 2018 unsigned, and I'll read the message that accompanied the unsigned bill. It's entitled, Mayor Schneider returns Budget Ordinance 8365 unsigned on November 28, 2017. Budget Bill Substitute 9325 was passed by the City Council on November 27th, and it does take effect. On September 28th, I submitted the administration's amended 2018 proposed budget, which was in compliance with Section 6.6 of the City Charter and Section 67.010 of the Missouri Revised Statutes. This budget was sustainable and contained the framework to continue to operate the city in a professional, efficient, and pragmatic manner, while providing the high level of programs and services our residents have come to expect. The Mayor's 2018 budget message acknowledged the financial challenges facing Florissant and most cities in the region, and explained that revenue from the new public safety sales tax, Proposition P, would help alleviate some of the budget burden of funding our law enforcement effort, which comprise half of our city budget. My message made it clear that all of the new public safety sales tax revenue would be used to benefit and improve our award-winning police department, including substantial pay increase for all uniformed personnel and additional equipment. Unfortunately, the budget that was submitted by the administration was declared dead on arrival by a majority of the City Council members. The main issue of contention was the recommended use of the new public safety revenue provided by the passage of St. Louis County Proposition P last April. It was expected and would have been useful to have a reasoned, thoughtful discussion concerning the merits of the administration's proposed use and allocation of these funds, but that did not happen, in my opinion. The Council's stated approach to use of the new sales tax funds was that it be used only for quote-unquote new expenditures. In practice, this stated objective was not met, as the Council amended the budget for purchase of replacement police cars with Proposition P funds. These cars are new only in the sense that they are the latest model year, but do not change the number of vehicles in the police fleet. Although the Council replaced existing police cars with new police cars, continuing a long-standing practice, they rejected the administration's proposal that essential high-tech police telephone service, police workman's comp and liability insurance to protect our police officers, and legal expenses to defend our police actions improves the police department's ability to protect our residents. This narrow interpretation of the action exacerbated the challenge to the general fund, which makes it unsustainable, and created an exaggerated sense of urgency to make massive cuts, which the Council expected the administration to embrace. The result was 6 arduous budget meetings when 2 is the norm, and the certainty that the administration will be compelled to request the Council for additional appropriations more often than is prudent for a successful separation of powers. In an attempt to make up some of the shortfall to the general fund, the Council made what I consider drastic and unnecessary cuts to the 2018 budget and took other actions that will compromise our ability to continue to deliver the services our residents have come to expect going forward. And I'll get to that in a minute. I am particularly concerned about cutting overtime funding in half after cutting it by a third last year. If we have a severe winter weather, Florissant could run out of overtime funds to pay for snow removal. The timing of the passage of the budget just before the new fiscal year, December 1, means that a veto of the budget would create a drastic challenge to all departments, especially the finance department, and could potentially create disruptions of service to our residents. Therefore, I did not veto the 2018 budget, and I allowed it to go into effect unsigned. Instead, I hereby return the 2018 budget unsigned as an official protest and a bookmark for future councils and administrations to reference when they consider a more prudent and pragmatic approach to giving the maximum amount of service to our residents that the city resources can provide. That's the end of my message returning the budget unsigned. More recently, yesterday, I submitted to the city clerk on December 6th a veto of Bill 9326. It's an early retirement bill. and this is addressed to the Florissant City Council, the citizens of Florissant, and the dedicated employees of our city. Bill 9326, referred to as the Retirement Incentive Opportunity Bill, was passed as Ordinance 8366, and I am compelled to veto it because it will seriously jeopardize this administration's ability to provide services to our residents. If this veto is overridden, I will be obliged to report all disruptions of Florissant municipal service caused by this ordinance to the Florissant public through all the usual communications available. I have been in office approaching 7 years as mayor, and this is my third veto, only my third veto. I feel that the veto action should be used very sparingly and only when the mayor feels that the city council has made a grave error. My first veto was upheld. My second veto was made when I thought the bill was unlawful, and a review of that action by Missouri Attorney General's office validated my position. Both were in my first year in office, so it has been over 6 years since I have been compelled to use this power. The stated goals of Ordinance 8366 and an ordinance authorizing a one-time retirement incentive opportunity for qualified employees are articulated as: 1, the success of this program will require a reduction in the total full-time workforce. 2nd, all non-essential positions vacated by retirement will be eliminated. 3rd, to be fiscally responsible to reduce the number of full-time positions. Now, I am open to intelligent discussion to prudent early retirement incentive program. However, with any such program, there must be a well-thought-out rationale behind any offer and clearly stated goals to support such a program. In this case, the stated goals can be condensed into one thought: to create a quote-unquote reduction in the size of the workforce, regardless of the consequences. I believe that there are more important goals and much better ways to achieve the goal of Bill 9326. A random, arbitrary, and untargeted offer to which you have no idea what employees, in what departments, at what pay level will respond seems to be lacking the basic concept of taking responsibility for actions as members of the legislative body of this city. A reasoned, researched, and studied position and corresponding action is far more preferable to relying on the luck of the draw, which could take years to recover from. Given the stated goal to reduce the size of the workforce, it would be much more sensible to conduct a thoughtful and in-depth review of all city services and programs, and then, based on that review, logically and judiciously determine where it could be most appropriate to reduce personnel in tandem with services. It is my belief, my firm belief, that a reduction in personnel in the manner proposed by Bill 9326 will most definitely have a negative impact on the delivery of quality services to our residents. Having a rational discussion on what services are necessary and at what cost can then be transitioned into a logical discussion of what services are absolutely necessary and those that may no longer be necessary. It is in this manner that a reduction in personnel, if that remains the goal after such a review, can be best accomplished. The way this offer is structured, all positions must remain vacant for at least 4 months, and only those positions deemed essential by the mayor may be filled at the end of the 4-month period. This may work in some departments in the field, but for some positions, especially the office positions with unique job responsibilities, education, knowledge, and training requirements, this will certainly not work. To address this onerous 4-month delay in hiring an essential replacement, there's a provision in the bill for the City Council to waive the 4-month delay required for a particular position adopting a specific resolution to do so. Such actions on the part of the City Council are considered a deliberate attempt at administrative action rather than legislative, and such a breach of the separation of powers should be beyond the purview of the City Council and shunned by the electorate. As the duly elected mayor and chief executive officer of the city, I must protest. This is an overreach on the part of the City Council, departing from the legislative responsibilities they were elected to do and invading the administrative duties that the voters gave to my office. The council has approved funding for certain positions as articulated through the budget process, and that must remain the extent of their interaction with the administration on this. In addition, There is a provision for the mayor to assign an existing employee to assume the duties of a vacated position for the temporary salary increase of 10%. This makes an assumption, which is not necessarily true, that it would be an existing employee with the education, training, skills, and ability to assume the duties of another position while maintaining the duties and responsibilities of their present position. Absent that, the position would remain vacant for at least 4 months, and there would be no opportunity for training or exchange of information between the existing employee and the eventual replacement at any point in time or at any level of interchange. The employees being targeted by this proposal are the ones generally at an age and experience level that would have the most institutional knowledge, experience, and training. With a mandatory minimum 4-month break in service, this invaluable, essential, yet intangible asset would be lost forever. I understand that all employees will eventually leave, but under this program, the possibility to pass along multiple careers worth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience gained at our own expense is lost forever. I foresee a very difficult and extended transition period to get the compromised workforce up to speed, and this will almost certainly compromise services of our basic operations. The result will have a very negative effect on our ability to serve the citizens we represent, especially in 2018. The council will be held accountable by the electorate for any and all collateral damage this action causes to our ability to provide the services our citizens have come to expect from the city of Florissant. Given the fiscal restraints facing the city as dictated by council actions during the recent budget process, I understand there is a financial interest of the city it's in the financial interest of the city to reduce expenses, and to accomplish that goal, a reduction in the workforce could play a part. However, any such discussion of a reduction in workforce should be done very carefully, as it will impact both the service the city offers and the morale of the remaining employees affected by any such staff reduction who continue to attempt to deliver services to our residents. To leave such an action to blind chance seems reckless and an abdication of the council's responsibility to provide the best services to our residents that our resources allow. In the most serious manner, I urge the council to reconsider Bill 9326 and to instead endeavor to work with the administration to craft a more reasoned approach to achieve staff reductions. Based on the thoughts herein, I hereby veto Ordinance 8366. Thank you for listening.